Wood's Fury. Action and Adventure in the Florida Keys. Mac Travis Adventures Book 9. Written by Stephen Becker. Performed by Paul J. Mcsorley. 1. Hands on hips, Mac leaned backwards to relieve some of the stiffness in his sore back. He had just sunk the last screw into the last board of the dock that should have been built years ago. Of all the screws he had ever set, either by hand or with the aid of a screw gun, this one might have been the most important. The lone pile, set by Wood back in the 80s before he'd even bought the island, still stood proudly, but was no longer alone. It now anchored the corner of the dock. Still working the tension from his body, he swore to himself that next time he would use a pad to protect his knees. When his muscles released, he stood back and with a critical eye checked his work, thinking it would pass even Wood's inspection. "It's great, Mac," Mel called from the beach. She stepped onto the walkway that extended over the waterline, connecting dock to land, and handed Mac a cold beer. "I'm not sure if Dad would be proud or mad," she said with a smile. Mac stepped back and took the beer, cooling his brow at the condensation of the ice-cold bottle. Mad. With several miles of water between here and the closest road, the island had been Wood's dream, and he had relished the privacy it brought. With only a narrow-dredged channel leading to the old pile, to the undiscerning eye, the island had appeared uninhabited. A closer examination might reveal the concrete tracks, poured into the small beach, used by Wood to pull his skiff through a well-camouflaged fence that concealed a clearing behind the mangrove-covered shoreline. The hundreds of islands littering the back country of the Florida Keys were filled with similar projects. Most were extremely primitive, dreams that were never finished or storm-ravaged and abandoned. Mac sipped the beer. "I'll swim out and bring the boats in after I clean up." "This is good, Mac. Dad was into all this top-secret stuff, but now with Google Earth or a drone, anyone who wants to find us could." And people had. After several recent adventures, the island was far from secret. Mac glanced toward the shore. He knew Mel was right. The camouflage previously offered by the thick brush had been stripped bare by Hurricane Ruth a few months ago, and the house was now clearly visible from the water. "Just takes some getting used to." Her point made, Mel closed the gap between them and kissed him before turning and heading up the path to the house. The dock was a necessary improvement, but was just one of a long list of changes since Mel had moved out to the island full-time. Adding the satellite internet connection had made her happy, but he wondered what would...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?